No timeouts remaining.
All he calls is too many timeouts. It's a technical foul.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of No More Timeouts. This is Lawrence Davis, your host, here with Ryan Wilson and James Moore Jr. I'm currently filling in for Johnny Rogers III. So, guys, what's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
What's up, Lawrence?
So this weekend we got the ACC tournament coming up, the women's tournament. Let me say it like that: the women's ACC basketball tournament. That's going to be Wednesday, March 3rd through Sunday, March 7th at the Greensboro Coliseum. It'll feature all 13 ACC teams that played this year, so that's excluding Duke. Beginning with the first round matchup on Wednesday. So, with that being said, guys, number one seed is Louisville. You got NC State, Carolina in it, looking pretty strong. What are some games you guys are going to be looking for or looking towards as the ACC tournament comes around? Ryan, I'm going to start with you.
I mean, for me, it's definitely probably a possible third round or a third matchup between the NC State Wolfpack and the Virginia Tech Hokies. They split the season series this year, with Virginia Tech taking an overtime victory in Blacksburg this year. You know, they went back and forth all game, and Lisa Cunane was just not playing in the second matchup. But, you know, as much as she makes a difference, it was just a three-point shooting from Asia Shepard and Georgia Amore. But we can't forget about Elizabeth Kitley, as she ranks third in the ACC right now in scoring. She's averaging this season 18.6 points per game and almost 11 rebounds as well. So it's just going to be a battle inside. But honestly, it's the battle of who's going to be scoring the most. I mean, in the first matchup, the Wolfpack took a nice little victory. It was 91-89 or 89-87. And the Hokies took the second victory, 83-71 in overtime. But as much as we talk about Cunane and Kitley, the big role player for this year has definitely been Georgia Amore for Virginia Tech Hokies, as she's just been on fire lately for the Hokies, as they've won 6 of their last 7 games. The Hokies come in this year with a 13-8 record and 8-8 in the ACC. Well, 6 of their 8 losses have come from the top 8 seeds in the conference. So when they lose, they're not losing to bad teams. So they've lost to Louisville, they've lost to Georgia Tech, they've lost to Florida State, they've lost to State one time, they beat State once. They're having a really good year. And some of the coaches in the ACC meeting this week, prior to the tournament, were saying Virginia Tech could even be a double-bye team. They're a 6 seed, but they're probably the most dangerous 6 seed I've seen. So it's definitely going to be a battle. NC State comes in ranking second in the country in defensive rebounds per game at almost 32, just behind the Lason's leading Troy of 32.8. It's just going to be an absolute battle between these teams. So I think it's going to come down to who's ever going to get the most points in the paint. But for me, I got NC State taking the victory probably in another shootout. I would say State wins this one 86-79 and moves on to the semifinals, who will probably either face Georgia Tech or Notre Dame, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're throwing some scores out there.
Yeah. Virginia Tech though, those girls, that 1-2 punch between Kitley and Shepard, they're amazing, man. I know Shepard just broke the school record for most threes in the program, and so they're going to be hard to stop. That's definitely going to be a tough matchup. James, what about you, man? So what matchups are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm personally looking forward to Carolina and Wake Forest.
Okay.
And it's, I'm a Carolina fan, but I wouldn't necessarily, just pick them because it's Carolina. So, but I definitely feel like, their season series is split 1-1. So I think it'll be a great matchup for that third matchup. It's second round, correct?
Yeah.
So I definitely think Carolina can, pull that one out. And I guess since Ryan is throwing scores out there, I guess we can say I don't think it'll be a too high of a scoring game. The last game didn't reach 80 points, and they went to overtime. So I definitely think it'll probably be around maybe, I'll say 57-65 Carolina's way. I think if Stephanie Watson, Deja Kelly both step up, they can really make some noise in there. They can really, bring out the win. Last game, Wake Forest could not stop Janelle Bailey. She scored 19 points, 50% shooting in 41 minutes. She was a monster. They had no answer for her. So I definitely believe if that big three, I guess you could say, it can step up and really score some points and take care of the basketball for sure, then I definitely think they'll come out with the win. Because the rebound is gonna answer for itself for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Wake Forest has some experienced players. Ivana Raka. I don't know how to say her name. I apologize, but she's amazing. Conti, she's an amazing international player. And so that's gonna be tough. I want to see how Deja Kelly does. She's been on a nice little tear recently. But I really want to see how she deals with that experience. This team that's kind of culminated now in 2021 is way different than the team that played those two games back in 2020, back in December. So I want to see how Deja Kelly does. And also at that time, Steph Watts was kind of going through her shooting slump. So I want to also see in that matchup as well, if because Watts towards the end of the season has kind of disappeared a little bit. So I do want to see that is a good matchup.
She's on a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I also think that it's really going to come down to if Carolina can knock down their threes. It's kind of been the season. They kind of live and die by the three. When they played NC State, I believe they knocked down 14 3-pointers or something like that. It was Alyssa Utsby, I believe, had 4. Petra Holoshinska had 3. Stephanie Watts, I think, had 1, but I think that was when she was going through her shooting slump. Also, North Carolina's got a couple quality wins this year. They just came back against Virginia Tech. They were down 12 at the half and came back to win that one. They beat NC State in the Carmichael Arena in Chapel Hill this year. So they got a lot of quality wins. I don't know what's going to happen to them after that 8-9 matchup, but they're definitely a dangerous team right now this year, kind of like Virginia Tech's a dangerous 6. I think UNC is a very dangerous 8 seed, given the talent they have, especially with their shooting. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game. If they knock down their shots, I think they walk away with the victory.
I have a question for both of y'all.
Yeah.
Is youth a factor in this game between Carolina and Wake Forest?
I think youth is a factor in the ACC tournament or just in postseason in general. A lot of people like to say like, oh, well, this person he's not a freshman anymore, or she's not a freshman anymore. They've been here a whole season now. This is the end of the second semester, so technically they've been here a whole year. But postseason is a whole new season, and just how they had to get acclimated to, regular season time. Non-conference time, they had to get acclimated. When conference time came around, it was an acclimation period. And it's going to be another adjusting period for the ACC tournament. And so if youth could pick up the tempo quickly, if they could kind of, get the lay of the land and see how everything goes and figure it out quickly. Yeah, I think that it doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, if like, for example, if Deja Kelly gets out there and looks like a deer in headlights, and Raka and Conti kind of take advantage of her, yeah, it's gonna be lights out real quick. So yeah, that's my take.
I also agree with you, Lawrence. I think that the youth definitely going to play an experience. You got to look at players like you said, Ivana Raka. She's been in this position before. The one difference I would say is in normal years, the ACC tournament is just packed with fans. Coach Wes Moore for NC State was saying earlier that usually there's a ton of fans. In last year's championship game, there was 9,000 fans. And this year, I believe there's going to be just a little over 1,000, I believe, right around for the fans this year. So yes, I think the youth is going to play a factor in it, especially when it comes to just getting the game going. This is the first game for both these teams. So each one of these teams have a couple young players. Carolina is just more young this year with Utsby and Deja Kelly. So I think the youth's definitely going to play a factor. But when it comes down to it, I just think if they can find their rhythm early on, they're going to settle into this game, and it's just going to feel kind of like a regular season, especially with just there's just not going to be the normal amount of fans. So there will be a lot of pressure on the youth players, but with just not enough fans, I don't think it's going to feel like a normal ACC tournament where they're going to be as sluggish coming out of the gates. Now, will there still be some errors? Yes, of course. They're young players. That happens all the time. I mean, even Courtney Banghart said, in the press conference this week, the team, this December team that they played is not the same team that they're playing now. They haven't played each other since mid-December. So this is two different teams. I mean, early on, Alyssa Utsby was just kind of like, just running the offense. And now she's knocking down shots. She's taking over games when she wants to be. Everyone's finding their roles. So I think this is going to be a much more intense game than people think for an 8-9 game at noon on a Thursday. So if you're interested in watching some intense women's basketball, this is definitely a game you want to watch because it's going to go back and forth and down to the wire.
Yeah, I agree. And just a little tidbit, Carolina's women's team is second in the ACC behind Louisville in total points scored on offense. So that's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah. They also ranked 12th in the country this year in defensive rebounds. So it's NC State leads the country or leads the ACC. Duke, which they haven't played a game since, November. So I'm not sure if that stat follows up through.
That counts. No, that doesn't count.
I don't know if it fully counts, but North Carolina, I would say, is the second best team in the ACC at defensive rebounds. Kind of like their men's team. They just, both of those teams can rebound. So I guess the way North Carolina basketball is run now is you better rebound the ball or you're not going to be playing. So
that's real. No, I remember talking to Coach B several times throughout the season. I remember at the beginning they were going through some rough patches. And she was just saying that right now they're worried about focusing on learning defense and that offense will eventually come. So the defensive numbers don't shock me that much. I'm more shocked on the offensive numbers just because they've been low scoring for a while, and then it just seemed like right after that Florida State loss at home, they just kind of went on fire. They upset NC State right after that, went on a little 3-game win streak, and they've been rolling offensively. And so, I'm definitely eager to see what happens with that. Me personally, man, I'm looking forward to, and I'm I guess jumping straight to the finals, I guess, but I'm looking forward to the Louisville NC State matchup. And so, a couple things got to go right for that to happen. But you got Louisville, who's the favorites. They were the favorites last year. NC State ended up winning the championship. They're the defending champs. In my honest opinion, I feel like last year NC State had a really good team, but it was a little fluke by them winning. Not saying that they didn't deserve it. Not saying they weren't a great team. I just felt like a lot of luck came into it, and obviously you got to be lucky in the postseason. You got to be as lucky as you are good. So nobody's knocking anything, not taking anything away, but I felt like Notre Dame and Louisville last year lost on fluke instances, and so I think if NC State would have played Louisville as opposed to Florida State last year in the championship, it would have been a much different outcome. So I want to see it this year. I know NC State went to Louisville. Louisville had the most fans this year. They went to Louisville, beat them in Louisville in a later game, and so it's going to be a tough matchup, man, between like NC State right now shooting from the three. They're shooting 37%, which leads the ACC, but Louisville's holding their opponents to under 28%, which is both first in the ACC. Louisville's shooting it a little bit over 80 points per game. NC State is shooting it a little bit under 79 points per game. And Louisville has the highest turnover margin in the ACC, where they're plus 3.5 and plus 3.65 in the turnover margin, whereas NC State is only plus 0.37. So what that shows me right there is that Louisville loves to force turnovers, but NC State takes care of the ball. Dana Evans is balling out for Louisville, 21 points per game. Olivia Cochran is coming in, giving you 7 strong rebounds a game, buckets, and then Haley Van Lith, you can't forget about her. And so, but NC State is stacked too. I know we already talked about Alyssa Cunane. Kayla Jones is really playing her butt off. She's really had a rags to riches story where she really wasn't doing much. Her and Kai Crutchfield, really, both of those two seniors, they struggled to figure it out early in their careers, but now they're coming on strong. And really, what I'm looking for, man, is that point guard battle between Dana Evans and Raina Perez. Both of them are really smart. Perez is a grad transfer. Dana is a senior or grad student. So both highly experienced. Both don't turn over the ball. Both can put the ball in the bucket whenever. Dana is more of your Kyrie Irving kind of. She's flashy. She's gonna get you buckets, get you assists, but she's gonna run the team and get you a win. Whereas like Raina Perez, I kind of compare her a little bit to my basketball players. More like a Chris Paul kind of like.
She's smart.
Yeah,
Her
like
IQ was up there.
like she plays all off of IQ. So when she does have scoring bursts, it's more based off of the defense was doing something that allowed her to take advantage of that opportunity. And so I really like how she plays. If NC State could get some consistent scoring out of some bench players, the Jada Boys of the world, the Camille Hobby, Kayla really got to be strong. But yeah, I really feel like if, and I hate to say this, if NC State and Louisville got to play again for a championship, we're talking about another ring season. Louisville will beat NC State by 25 plus. Like no
25 plus.
25 plus.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it's going to be a blowout. I don't see NC State sticking in it. If Louisville gets hot and plays like how they should play, and they move like how they usually move in the tournament, it's not going to be close. It's not going to be close.
I mean, so now we know your pick, because that's not even a doubt. James, what do you got in this championship matchup right here?
I mean, I have the same matchup and I have the same outcome, but 25 points, that's outlandish. I'm not even gonna do NC State like that.
Nah.
I can definitely see Louisville winning the ACC championship though. But I see it being a close game, maybe 7 points at the least.
Okay.
7 points at the least. I hope NC State wouldn't get that far to get blown out. That's terrible.
All right, so I guess we're segueing into this segment. So go ahead and pick your winners. Who do you got winning if that is the eventual matchup? Or who do you got winning? And no matter who they beat, why do you got them winning, I guess?
All right, so I got NC State taking down Louisville in the championship. I do agree that Dana Evans been balling. I mean, that's the best player in the ACC this year. I know Elisa Cunane's had a great year. Jakia Brown-Turner's had a great year. So has Elizabeth Kitley. But I think Dana Evans is the best player in the ACC this year, the way she runs the offense and everything. But, last time these two played, it was just Dana Evans. And if Evans is the only one that's scoring, as much as she could drop 30, 35 on a team, I think NC State's more balanced, where they could run the offense. They could just keep the scoring going back and forth just throughout the team, where it's not just going to be a one-person show. Now, I do think if Olivia Cochran gets going and Haley Van Lith starts knocking down jumpers, I think Louisville could do it. But last game, Haley Van Lith was, I believe, 3 for 11, had 7 points, 1 of 7 from 3. Now, I don't think she's going to do that same thing again. I think, she's going to have a bounce back game against the Wolfpack. But when it comes down to it, I think State's got this year. I think they're going to go back to back. Now, since I threw out a score against Virginia Tech, I'm going to throw another score out for this one. I'm going to go Wolfpack with I'm going to say 81-76 victory. I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be a battle. But I think when it comes down to it, State's going to pull away in the last minute and a half, and they're going to knock down some late game free throws. I think Dana Evans is going to score about 26, 27, but I do think that it's going to be State with the win. And then if I'm going to go with, this is just me being a State person right now. But if we're going to go with an MVP of the tournament, I think it's going to be Lisa Kinane. She's going to be balling out this tournament. She's ready to go. Now I'm not going to say that other players from the Wolfpack aren't going to do anything, because we all know they will. I mean, Shakina Brown-Turner has been balling this year. She was ACC Player of the Week a couple times. Jada Boyd was a sixth man of the year for the Wolfpack in the ACC. So I think it's going to be everyone's going to be scoring, but when it comes down to it, I got Elisa Kinane leading the Wolfpack to the ACC title for the second straight year. And then just me throwing a little spitball out there, a couple other players I think I want to watch this year besides Evans and Kitley and Kinane. I'm a big fan of Tiana Mangakahia from Syracuse. She leads the NCAA in steals this year, and her story is just great. I mean, like she battled through so much. I mean, she's just a true. If you haven't seen her story and haven't read it, just please look it up. It's true motivation. It's truly inspiring. I mean,
it is.
It's an unbelievable story, and what she's done for not only women's basketball but just basketball in general. And people have been giving her shout outs all year. So I'd love to watch her play this year. I hope Syracuse makes a run. I see them going to the semifinals, but that's definitely a big player on my name for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. She's a player I really love as well, especially with cancer touching my family a couple of times. Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of hers. Probably one player I would definitely like to watch. What's her name? Michaela Dickens for Boston College. I just think she's really scrappy. She puts the ball. Actually, I'm gonna give two people a shout out here. I'm gonna go with the one I was thinking off the top of my head, but yeah, Michaela Dickens. She's scrappy. She can shoot the ball like crazy. She crashes the boards. She plays with a lot of energy, and I just love that. I love that grit, that toughness. That like no matter what it is, I'll stick my head in there and fight kind of thing. I love that. So, shout out to her. But Kyra Lewis, if we're gonna stick on this Syracuse thing, Kyra Lewis, I call her a premium slasher or whatever. I mean, she can kind of do it all, but she's so small. But like, I promise, she's like one of the best finishers at the rim I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't get it. Like, she's short, but like can finish over any player, any size. She has all moves, can finish left hand, right hand, spinning, fade away, like Euro step. She has all the moves, and she also has a outside game, has handles too. And just she's a guard that nobody really talks about. But Kyra Lewis, definitely a player. Those two players, Dickens and Lewis, two players I'm definitely interested in seeing. James, anybody you excited to see this year?
I think you both touched on her a little bit, Raina Perez. I think she is the anchor for NC State. If it wasn't for her, they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. I think personally, I mean, like you said, she's like a Chris Paul. She's a floor general, a point goddess, if I should say. I just think she's gonna come up big, and she's gonna come up clutch with her IQ and her tenacity on the court.
I agree. I definitely agree.
She's the ACC leader right now in assist to turnover ratio. She's also 13th in the country. So she's a, like you said, a point goddess. But point goddess. But one thing that I think people also have been forgetting is she led the West Coast Conference last year in scoring. She averaged over 20 per game and was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year before coming to State. So if she wants to get her shots, she's going to get her shots.
That's true.
But I think her role, like James said, she's a facilitator. She knows how to. She's the anchor for that offense right now. She runs everything. So I think the offense is going to run through Raina Perez, and just someone else that just kind of popped in my mind, especially to watch this year, especially in the ACC tournament, is Lawrence touched on earlier, Asia Shepard. I mean, that girl can shoot. She's got 82 3 makes this year, which leads the country. and she broke the Virginia Tech record for most threes. And in the game against NC State where they won, she scored 27 in the second half and 17 in overtime. I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. She went off. Like, I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you did not see this game, go watch the highlights and watch this girl shoot, because it's like, it is pure. I like, to me, it looks like JJ Redick college level. Like, she's a pure shooter. Lawrence, I had to throw that out there at you, man. I know you're a Duke guy. I can't be throwing my Carolina facts in here. If we're gonna talk Carolina facts, I mean, I'll go Wayne Ellington on you or any day right now with jump shot.
That's
cool. I know James, you got any people they're similar to?
Nah, I don't. That off the top of my head.
Did you guys give your score for championship game?
I did not give a score.
So I don't know, my pick is outlandish. I'm gonna go last. Ryan, I'm gonna start with you.
I believe I said it was 81-75.
Okay. 81-75.
My score is gonna go. I'm not gonna throw any 25-point blowout out there like you got in your head.
That's cool.
Okay. You got your thoughts. I'm gonna let you think it. I'm not gonna judge. You know, we got a bunch of Wolfpack fans here probably listening, so I don't know if we want to attack them too much.
I'm sorry, Wolfpack fans.
I think I'll go, like I said, I got Louisville winning. I think I'll go 75-70.
Okay. I got it 80-56.
Come on, man. Why you gotta do that?
80-56. Louisville.
You're just trying to make State fans cry.
No, I'm not. No, I rock with State. Like, everybody at NC State knows I have nothing but love for NC State. And I pray to God that they prove me wrong. But sports, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. So yeah, so I'm going a 24-point victory to make a statement. Louisville wins 80-56.
All right, now if Louisville does this, I know that right now they're ranked
number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament.
No.
I'm kidding.
Recent bracketology has State right now is a 2 seed, and I believe Louisville as well as a 2.
No, they're a 1 seed. So the bracketologists understand who they know who's probably going to win the ACC tournament. That's why it's set like that. That's all based off of who they predict to win the ACC tournament. That's why Louisville has the 1 seed and NC State is at the 2 seed. Although NC State is higher ranked than Louisville coming into the tournament. Yeah, that's that. So the bracketologists, guys, whatever, predict that Louisville's gonna win the championship.
No,
maybe not as boldly as I am, but nevertheless.
So if State wins the ACC,
and I pray to God they do. I hope they go back to back. I'm a huge NC State fan. Like,
now if they win,
I'm a huge NC State fan.
Title. If they win the ACC title, do we put them as a 1 and Louisville down as a 2?
Yes, because everybody else that's a 1 seed has lost to NC State.
Besides you.
Yeah, true. But either way, though, I feel like NC State has proven it. Like, if NC State wins the championship this weekend, it's nothing else to talk about. It's nothing else they have to describe. They arrived. They made it. All the players this year have an option to come back. They have a strong recruiting class coming in next year. If they win this championship this year, I mean, it could be 3, 4, 5. What was LeBron talking about? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Yeah, that's gonna
go. So
because the reason why I choose Louisville over NC State so boldly is because I just feel like Louisville has that experience of being at the top, whereas NC State is currently rising from the bottom. And so I just think that, like, water seeps to its own level. Like if you put water and oil, mix a whole bunch of things in one bottle, everything seeps to its own level. And so I think, top dogs go to the top, and you know what I mean? And I think that Louisville is a top dog. I think that They had one fluke instance last year, and they opened the door for anybody in the ACC. But I think that because they lost on that fluke on a fluke loss last year, they're going to be on a mission. They've already been beat by NC State at their crib to ruin their perfect season. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be hungry. This is not like this is not a game. You know what I mean? Like, Dana Evans is trying to seal her her draft spot. She's not playing no games out here. Haley Van Lith is trying to build a name for herself. She's not playing no games out here. Like, these girls aren't playing. NC State girls aren't playing either, but it's a whole difference. Like, NC State is coming from the bottom where they're trying to figure out how to maintain that high level of success. Whereas Louisville has already been doing this, and they just kind of got knocked off of it at the wrong time. You know what I mean? And so I think that just in the spotlight, as far as when it comes down to teams being experienced at winning, I think that Louisville has more of that. And when it comes down to it, Louisville will use that to be successful against NC State. And so it's not a knock to NC State. And I feel like if they can get over that hump, that's the last hump that they probably have to get over before they now are going to start putting fear into the rest of the ACC.
I agree.
So, but yeah, man. So, just you guys just make sure. So that's our take on the ACC tournament, guys. Make sure you guys tweet at us. Let us know what you think, who you guys think is going to win. Make sure you guys understand that the tournament, it goes on from Wednesday, March 3rd. The first game is at 2:00. Then Thursday is the first full day of games. All of the games, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be on RSN. So that will be Fox Sports South for all of my people in the North Carolina area. The semifinal and final will be broadcasted on ESPN2. So make sure you guys are watching that. Make sure you guys are staying locked. Make sure you guys follow Spectacular Mag, Spec Mag Sports, and go to the website, spectacularmag.com, to keep up with all latest news on your favorite team, guys. This has been Lawrence Davis with Ryan Wilson and James Moore. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast, and take care.
Peace.
See you guys.